Hi there. Gonna do a review for Supergirl. This movie just came out, and it's different. It sort of picks off. It sort of seems like it's almost a prequel to Superman, almost, but nonetheless, it happens. It took place. It's an interesting film per se. The sense that basically um, Supergirl is depressed. Get the feeling that's the reason why this movie's not so well taken. Is she's a little depressed. Goes to other world planets where there's red suns in order to avoid the problems of the yellow sun, because then she can't party up. Movie was directed by Craig Gillespie, and partial writing credits go to Joe Shuster, and Jerry Siegel. And it stars Millie Alcock and Eve Ridley. And I think that's the main thing about this movie. I think it was also Matthias is in here as Krem. But this movie is basically about Supergirl. Actually, it starts out with Ruthie. Ruthie is a girl whose family was apparently banditry, space bandits, space pirates, or something. I'm not sure exactly how to describe them. But she ends up with a situation where the whole family gets wiped out, and she's the only one left, and basically everybody, and she's out for revenge, so to get her sword back and stuff. And this movie here is her trying to get a hold of people that can do that condition. That can get a hold of it. Can get these to help her get avenge her family's death. And just happens to pop into one of the bars where Supergirl happens to be, and that's how Supergirl sort of ends up in the tag team. And Supergirl, of course, is Kara Zor-El. Um, the movie's not too bad. It's different. I don't know. It almost feels like Guardians of the Galaxy, which I guess makes sense since this is produced more or less by produced. I don't know. The film has this problem though, is that it's throughout it. I had I liked it to a certain extent. It's got some interesting sequences. I don't mind it when they have her having the weak spot where she's on rides and stuff and she doesn't have her superpowers all the time. There is the rather amusing little joke of the fact that she literally has to be in seeing range of a yellow sun in order to get the radiation. Apparently, sun radiation doesn't just hit you the moment you're within range of a star. Apparently, you have to actually have visual range. This is the to me this was the Smallville joke. In Smallville, years ago, the only way that Clark Kent got kryptonite poisoning is if he looked at the kryptonite directly. If he had his back to kryptonite, it wouldn't affect him, and then he would turn around, and suddenly there's thousands of gallons of kryptonite, and suddenly he's down. He can't handle it. Doesn't matter if his back is turned to it, as long as the camera's away from it, he can handle the kryptonite. Um, but yeah, in this movie, yeah, she's trying to help this girl out that's avenging her family. And also the problem is that in the process of trying to get vengeance, the girl stops by this Supergirl's little hideout place on some planet, and the whole mission of the Supergirl becomes that Crypto gets a little anxious around the space pirates and tries to charge at them, and ends up getting shot with a dart that contains some poison. And there's only one antidote, and that's what the one that they have. So she goes on a mission to get this antidote back for these space pirates. This other girl's trying to get avenge her family's death. Um, Along the way, they meet Lobo, which I'm only passing familiar with. Basically, his story goes is that he wiped out his race with some sort of experiment. I think I saw him in one of the episodes of the Superman cartoon years back. Is that he was basically, he said, I traded my species for a grade A in class. Um, and it's rather interesting to hear this. I'm not sure how this coincides with the morality tale that's being played here, but I guess the good thing about Lobo is he's able to hold his own against all these space aliens, and apparently against Supergirl too. But Supergirl, exhibits the same powers as Superman, so of course every time she comes in the presence of Yellow Sun, she is lightning fast and she's able to deal with things. She does not necessarily need anybody, but she is lacking of. I would say she's not the brightest person in the universe, because every once in a while she'll get herself into a situation where I'm figuring that she should have known better than to do that. I'm like thinking, well, why would you do that? Why would you get yourself into such danger? Why wouldn't you be a bit more strategic? But I guess the screenwriting is only so good when it's whoever it is writing it. Yeah, so also Superman does try to get a hold of her every once in a while on an inter-telecom system. Space telecom. Works great. But yeah, this movie is fine. Not too bad at all, actually. I think its biggest crime is that it spends too much time on enemies that aren't that interesting, and basically Supergirl's just dealing with these guys. Now, for most part, she doesn't really have to worry too much. I think that's one of the biggest problems of this movie is that when she does have her powers, she's nearly invulnerable. She really does have no trouble dealing with her enemies. Um, and it's the same problem over and over again, is that she makes deals with people who kind of almost backstab her. Like one group landed her right on a planet that has a green sun. Um, Not sure why they didn't avoid this problem. Why didn't they just land when they had a yellow sun? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. More or less, she faces a few situations that are bad. I mean, she goes on a bus journey through the cosmos, and apparently a group of other set of pirates comes and steals people's gems. And it's funny because she breaks out and goes and ends up getting in the range of a yellow sun, and the result is that they get themselves into the people that tried to do this attack get themselves a bit of trouble with her, because now she's super powered and she gets to call the shots. Yeah, all in all, not too bad, I guess. To me, this isn't up to par with the old Superman movies. But to me, the Supergirl TV show on CW was actually a better show. This movie here has this problem where it's trying to be too much different than what regular Supergirl. Like, I don't know. It's not too bad. I mean, it's not. There's nothing really terribly wrong with it, but audiences aren't going to it. The movie's grossed so little, it's not doing the greatest. I guess it could end up being one of those things where people change their mind on it over time. Nonetheless, Millie Alcock does a pretty good job of playing Supergirl. I mean, there isn't really anything huge to do about it. There's not really a character there per se. Supergirl doesn't really have a character. She's just kind of an icon, a concept. And however you play her is what you need to play her as. But nonetheless, this direction, this movie is not too bad. I'm not sure we're going to see a conclusion to these stories, because can't see how Warner Brothers is going to bother taking any more losses on these films. We got Superman last year, we got Supergirl this year, and of course Supergirl I think was expected to do a little bit better in the theaters. I think what turned people off it is A, is crypto, and B, the concept of a party girl Supergirl, and I think some people definitely have a problem with this concept, because I don't think Supergirl is supposed to be partying all that much. And she's kind of down and depressed in this movie because, of course, she was there when her home planet got wiped out, self-destructed. And, of course, that becomes a problem for her, because now she actually remembers the death of her race, whereas Clark Kent, or Kal-El doesn't actually remember anything, whereas Kara-Zor-El does remember things. Um, all in all, not too bad. Interesting enough. Lobo does a pretty good job of acting like a biker guy, I guess. I don't know how he's supposed to actually act. Just seems like a generic biker dude. Um, but yeah, altogether, they end up getting a cure. They end up also freeing a bunch of, I guess, female servitude slaves or something. Um, but yeah, it's not too bad of a movie. It's decent enough. Maybe on more than one viewing, I'll have a different opinion. But on the first viewing, it was all right. I don't think it had to be perfect. It probably wasn't. But yeah, it's not too bad. But yeah, there's Supergirl.